Welcome to MMA Maine, the best MMA show around the world. My name is Mighty, and I'll be your host for this evening. As if, who else would be the host for this evening? I mean, oh, it's National Dog Day. I could have my dog host the show, but I'm at the studio, dog's at the house, so I guess it's not going to happen. Happy National Dog Day, everybody. Anyways, thank you for joining us this evening. You are with the jackass of MMA, so thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful MMA ride that we are taking tonight. Woo! So in any case, let's jump back into this past weekend. We had UFC Saskatoon in Canada. Dude, sorry. Patrick Cote, I'm sorry. Oh, man, I know I picked Berkman. I thought Berkman would have the slight advantage, having more activity over the last few years, opposed to, you know, a little bit smaller, you know, minimal, I would say minimal activity for Cote. But, man, Cote has been looking awesome. He came in looking lean and mean. And all honesty, I think he looks better than he ever has. And he's 35 now, 34. And he was once a contender in the middleweight division. He fought against Anderson Silva for the belt years ago. 7 years ago, I think, 2008. So I think now he might even be a better fighter than he was back then. He's matured. He's learned his craft. You know, maybe not... you know what? Not to be an exact comparison, but kind of like Robbie Lawler. You know, Robbie Lawler has made this full circle. He started off, you know, as ruthless Robbie Lawler, and now he's kind of matured into this fighter that maybe is more, what's the word, refined and patient. I mean, obviously he's still in there banging, but you know what I mean? So maybe Patrick Cote, maybe the similar type of thing. You know what? I could be completely wrong. I am crazy, so whatever. But in any case, I feel that Cote has really come around, and he could possibly be a contender again. I mean, I think now with weight class with Anderson Silva, you know, being gone, I mean, Weidman obviously still a big force, and there's a lot of big names in the middleweight division, don't get me wrong. But I would say it's a little bit more open than it has been, because Silva just dominated for so long. So I think now's the time, and maybe even in the welterweight division as well, with GSP being gone, he was dominating for so long. And maybe even the lightweight division, John Jones dominating for as long, not as long as GSP and Anderson Silva, but he was definitely dominating the weight class as well. So maybe it just opens it up a little bit. We'll see. It's interesting to see. But in any case, I did take Berkman over Cote, and Cote got the win, and kudos to him, man. I'm really happy he got that. I really wanted to pick him. I went with my head instead of my heart, and it was wrong. Either way, I should have just went with my heart. But in any case, congrats, Cote. That was an awesome fight. The other fight, or the other two fights, I should say, Neil Magny, he was a slight underdog. I did pick him. And I don't know if he looked that good or if Eric Silva looked that bad. But, man, Neil Magny came in, and either he learned something huge off the loss with Damian Maia, or he just kind of pushed that to the side and said, you know what? I'm going to kind of still stay on that 7-fight win streak. We'll forget about that loss 3 weeks ago, but I still got that 7-fight win streak, so I think he's ready to rebuild that win streak. I would say he's ready for a top 15 opponent for sure. Test him. Let's see what he can do. He looked great against Silva. I mean, I don't want to say that Silva looked horrible. Maybe Magny made him look horrible. You know what I mean? Sometimes matchups, that's what happens. So I do want to see him tested, though. I think he's well ready for a top 15 opponent. Let's see what this gentleman can do. And then last but not least was the main event, Charles Oliveira against Max Holloway. I picked this one. I'm not happy with how I got the win. I mean, no one wants to see anybody get injured. And the crazy thing is, when the injury happens, so Charles Oliveira gets hurt during the fight. The crazy thing is, when you're watching it, at least myself, I'm thinking he dislocated his shoulder, right? Maybe broke his collarbone, tore something. He tore his esophagus. How the hell do you tear your esophagus? It's not like they were in the octagon in a pieing contest and he ate too much and it exploded. I mean, I've never heard of an esophagus getting torn or injured in a fight, unless maybe someone got punched in it. But it was weird. It looked like Holloway had a hook in and yanked on the arm, and maybe that arm is connected to his throat. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm a jackass is what I am. So in any case, it was crazy. I am glad to hear, though, they announced today that he was released from the hospital. So I'm happy about that. It sucked. It was in the makings of a great fight. And I agree. I think Brian Stan or whoever it was, maybe John Anik, said, hey, we need to talk to Sean Shelby and get this match, re-signed and have them rematch. I feel that's legit. I don't know if the outcome would have been any different as far as Holloway losing or winning. I mean, maybe who knows, right? I mean, but the thing is, you want to see that play out. Now, I'm not saying this is the same exact thing, but the fight like with Tyron Woodley and Carlos Condit, and Condit blows out his knee. When I was watching the fight, I thought Tyron actually won the first round pretty definitively, but then when the second round came around, it looked like the pace had been changing. Maybe the tide was turning, and it started going to Condit's favor a little bit, but then he blew out his knee, so we never got to see it play out. So I still want to see that rematch at some point. It's the same type of thing with Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. Obviously, Charles couldn't continue. He's kind of like, don't hit me, bro. Don't hit me. So I felt bad, man. But I am glad to hear that he was released from the hospital. So that is a very good thing. So moving on to what has happened over the last few days. The very interesting thing, or exciting thing, I should say, is UFC on Fox 17, which is in December in Orlando. That card is really shaping up. Headlined by Donald Cerrone versus Rafael Dos Anjos for the lightweight title. I mean, that alone justifies a view or a watch or a gathering, a social gathering of friends to drink beverages, alcoholic or non, partake in eating food and watching fights. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. But in any case, other fights that were added to this card that I was excited about. Junior Dos Santos against Overeem. That's a banger. You got the big boys. I mean, that's a recipe for someone going to sleep. And then you have 209 boy right here in Stockton. Don't be scared, homie. You got Nate Diaz against Michael Johnson. That's an interesting matchup. We'll see what happens on that. And then they just recently added Nick Lentz against Danny Castillo. So that card's really shaping up. There was already some fights announced on it, so we'll see how this whole thing plays out. It should be a very exciting card. I think it's pay-per-view worthy, but it's free on Fox. Now, I know some people say, hey, I don't have cable, so I don't get the Fox stations. Well, I think you can get Fox with rabbit ears, the digital ones, right? Not Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2, so I get that. But this is regular Fox. You can get Fox. Come on. Or just go down to the local Best Buy or whatever the store is near your house and go watch it down there. They'll have it on. They've got Fox. I know they got Fox. I've seen people there on not Super Bowl Sunday, on Sundays watching football on Fox. People sitting on couches watching football at the local electronics store. Anyways, you can watch it somewhere. Come on, you got a boy, a girl, a friend, a parent. You can watch it somewhere. I know you can. It's a card worth watching, so watch it. Just watch it. Trust me, all right? This is Jackass MMA. Trust me. You can do it. I have faith in you. So in any case, this coming weekend, UFC's on break until the following week, so they're about 10 days out or so. World Series of Fighting, Invicta, not till September, so we still have a 2, 3, 4 weeks for them. But this weekend we do have Bellator in Temecula, California, Dan Hendo's hometown for where he trains and has his camp. And it's at the Pachango Casino. It's an awesome venue. I've been there a couple times for Bellator events. It's always fun. It's a cool little venue. And I always meet great people. I should be there. I'm not going to be, but I should be. And it kind of sucks. And even Cutman Matt, when I was talking to him earlier, he was giving me the thumbs down because I'm not going to be there. I always like to chop it up with him, good people. But I will not be there. I had so many different plans this week. You know what I should have done? I should have took the Magic 8-Ball and just shook it and then just see what the answer was, and I would have just made my answer based upon that because I had all these different plans, and I don't even know what I'm doing now. It keeps getting changed, so as of right now, I don't even know what I'm doing, but I know it's too late to be able to get to Temecula, so we're not even going to worry about that. So in any case, I'm just going to talk about the main event. You got Melvin Guillard against Brandon Girtz. This is an interesting matchup, and I'll tell you why. I know probably the casual fan has never heard of Brandon Girtz. He's been in Bellator for a while, so we'll call him a Bellator veteran with 15 fights. He's about 30, 15, so he's 11-4. Melvin Guillard has 50 fights. Yeah, I said 5-0. He's like 32, 14, 2-2. This is all by memory, by the way, so if I'm wrong, call me out. That's cool, but I'm pretty sure that's what he is. 32 wins, 14 losses, 32 draws, 2 draws, 2 no contest. If I'm doing my math right, that's 50, right? Good. So 50 to 15, and they're 2 years apart. That is an insane amount of difference in experience, considering, for the most part, generally speaking, they're the same age, right? But, here's the but, right? They have conflicting styles. Guillard stands, bangs, super big power in his hands. Girtz, more of a ground guy. Girtz has quite a few wins by submission. Guillard, most of his losses are by submission, typically by chokes, either rear naked or guillotine. Girtz has quite a few wins by rear naked or guillotine, so this will be an interesting fight. I will say, obviously, Guillard is going to want to keep this standing. He's going to want to use that big power. This is his Bellator debut. He wants to make a statement. He wants to show people, hey, I'm here in this promotion and I'm here to do big things. Girtz, on the other hand, wants to obviously upset him for his homecoming or welcoming, whatever you'd like to call it. I'm going to go on a limb here and I'm going to say Girtz by submission, upset. I know. I'm interested to hear what your guys' picks are, especially Flying Brian and Best Fight picks. They're usually pretty accurate. So I'm going to go with Girtz, and depending on where the line is, I might put some units on that. Some cheddar. You know what I'm saying? Cheddar! So we'll see what happens. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but crazier things have happened. That's what everyone said to me when I put money on Weidman against Silva the first time. Yeah, look what happened. You saw my Lamborghini in the last year's intro. That's all I'm saying. No, that's right. I didn't buy that Lamborghini, obviously. Or maybe I did. Who knows? Any case, one last thing before we get out of here. Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm was announced Monday morning, and people were going crazy, and Twitter was on fire, you know. And I can't say that I don't disagree with the craziness, but I am happy to say, you know, have Ronda fight a new opponent. So I'm not opposed to her fighting Holly Holm. I don't know if Holly Holm is ready for her, but then again, who is really ready for Ronda Rousey? You know what I'm saying? So Misha, I mean, if she's as good as she says she is, and I think she's pretty good, she sticks around, she gets a couple more wins under her belt, a little more experience, what's it going to hurt? There's always running the risk of losing or getting injured, obviously. But if she loses a third time to Ronda, where does that put her? I mean, no one wants to see a fourth fight, and quite honestly, Ronda's probably not going to lose anytime soon if she ever does. So, with that being said, let her fight a couple other people, get some fresh blood. If Misha's still around and still a contender, then throw her out or down the road. I think that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Good. I'm glad you do. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mighty. I was your host for this evening. Watch some good fights this weekend on Bellator. Free on Spike Friday. Oh, wait. I just said free on Spike. Not everybody has Spike. Go to your local pub or Best Buy, whatever electronic show. They'll have Spike on. They'll have Spike. I trust them. Or maybe you're near Temecula. Go down to Pachanga. They have pretty inexpensive seats. It's a nice little venue. Almost every seat's pretty close. It's a good opportunity to watch some live fights. In any case, have a great night. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.